I don't know if that was a convenient slip of the.
Oh, I know it was
Let me
convenient
ask this
slip.
guy. Chris Fedor's on the line. Chris, do you think that was a convenient slip of the tongue, or was that just the way it was supposed to be?
Oh, I know it was, Andy. I know it.
I thought so too.
All right,
And he made me say it. He made me say it. Like, I'm not gonna say it. What stations do you work on?
It's the never mind.
Yeah,
I don't even know if you remember that station either. Hey, listen, your thoughts on the Browns from yesterday? What they've been able to do in the last 2 weeks? I think they've just kind of flipped the entire NFL upside down because I don't think anybody expected them to be 2-2 right now after losing those first two games.
I think yesterday, guys, they took the game out of the hands of Brian Hoyer to some degree with the way that their defense played. And I think if the Browns' defense continues to play the way that they did yesterday against Cincinnati, which was absolutely impressive. I mean, Cincinnati, one of the more explosive offenses in the NFL, to hold them to just 6 points and to shut down A.J. Green the way that Joe Hayden did, I mean, that's incredible. So if the defense keeps Brian Hoyer in the game long enough where he just has to put together one drive, just one drive. That's what he did last week against Minnesota at the end of the game to win the game, and that's what he did yesterday to put the game out of reach. If the defense continues to play like that, I think the Browns have a sneaky formula to get close to 500.
Chris, you know what I thought was interesting? I went back and watched the fourth quarter at like 4 o'clock this morning, and how much smack Joe Hayden and A.J. Green were talking back and forth yesterday. And if you go back and watch the fourth quarter, there's a play where Joe Hayden, A.J. Green finally gets the ball, and he must have said something to Joe, and those two were jawing pretty good from a distance. I love that, and I think that's what makes the Browns relevant. Because we talked to somebody from Cincinnati Browns backers this morning, and, you know, if you're in Pittsburgh or you're in Cincinnati or you're in Baltimore, you look at Cleveland as a chalked-up win every year. And if they can continue to do this and start to win in the North, and these teams actually may have to respect the Browns, I think that's probably something this city is looking for big time.
Yeah, and guys, there are times where the Browns' flaws are going to show, but where you feel like this is a different team, this is a different situation, is exactly what you just talked about, Andy. They feel like they can win every single game that they play. And they've got the confidence, they've got the swagger, they believe in Rob Chudzinski, they believe in North Turner, they believe in everybody in that locker room as well. And Joe Hayden, hats off to him. A.J. Green is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, and the Browns executed the formula to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think now the book is out on how you beat Cincinnati, whether you have the pieces in place to do it. That's a different story. But you take away Andy Dalton's go-to target in A.J. Green, and you put pressure on Andy Dalton. And you saw he looked like a completely different quarterback. He looked like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL yesterday because his number one target was taken away from him.
You know, Chris, now they've got to turn it around. You got to get ready for the Bills on Thursday night. It's another home game for you. And we just talked to our buddy Garrett in Baltimore from Ravens.com, works for the Ravens, and they just absolutely ran all over Baltimore. And as good as the run defense has been for the Browns, that's obviously going to be the main focus for them. Once again, they're going to be challenged by a team that loves to pound the football.
Yeah, and that's what Buffalo's trying to do. They're trying to take pressure off their rookie quarterback, and that's what they should do. That's what you do when you have C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson. And if you remember last year, going back to the beginning of the season, what C.J. Spiller was doing against this Browns run defense, It looked like he was going to run all the way to Canton and into the Hall of Fame before he got injured. Now, the good news is the Browns might have some good news Thursday because C.J. Spiller left the game early against the Baltimore Ravens, and he may not be able to play Thursday night. So that's another thing that has been in the Browns' favor in the last couple of games, guys. They're getting some breaks. Against Minnesota, Minnesota had to play without 2 starters in their secondary. Yesterday, Cincinnati's secondary comes in. They're completely decimated, and they might get another break Thursday night because C.J. Spiller, the outstanding running back for the Bills, may not be able to play. But I think you hit on it, Mike. I think the Browns' run defense, people continue to wonder, okay, is it really the Browns' run defense, or was it Lamar Miller and Daniel Thomas being terrible in Week 1 for the Dolphins? Is it really the Browns' run defense, or is it because Cincinnati had Ben-Jarvis Green-Ellis and Gio Bernard, who couldn't get on track? This will be another test for that Browns' run defense to continue to show that they are legit, and for this Browns defense to continue to make the opposing team one-dimensional. If the Browns force E.J. Manuel to try and beat them, I don't think E.J. Manuel can do that yet in his rookie season.
All right, last question for you, because I know you're a big fantasy guy. The fantasy value of Jordan Cameron right now.
Second best tight end behind Jimmy Graham. Gotta say it right now, Andy. I mean, this guy is getting double-digit targets on a weekly basis. He's an enormous threat in the red zone. And the Browns are a team, they have shown they really can't run the football. So they're going to have to throw the ball 30, 40, sometimes 50 times per game. So that means the opportunities are going to go to Jordan Cameron. And all the Browns really have in the passing game, guys, is Josh Gordon and Jordan Cameron. So behind Jimmy Graham of the New Orleans Saints, there's no other tight end that I'd rather have in fantasy football.
Best fantasy Browns player since fill in the blank. Through
Braylon Edwards of 2007, probably.
Impressive.
Peyton Hillis of 2011 maybe is another one to go to when he ran to the cover of Madden. He was somebody who you kind of got off the free agent waiver wire, and he was somebody that you felt like you could put in your lineup every single week, and he got double-digit touchdowns, 1,000 yards. So either Braylon Edwards of 2007 or Peyton Hillis of a couple of years ago.
Chris, thank you very much. Where do you want us to read you this week?
You can read me at cleveland.com, and you can hear me on 92.3 The Fan.
Outstanding. Nice job, Chris. We'll talk to you later. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Chris Fedor checking in, probably one of the top fantasy guys in the country.
Without
Not just
doubt.
here in Cleveland, but in the country
No,
as
without
well.
doubt.
And you can tell by, I mean, the number of hits he gets on the internet is through the roof.
No,
And if
follow
you're
him on
looking-
Twitter, too.
If you're looking for fantasy help, you definitely want to join
Yeah.
him. In fact, I'm in a league with him right now, and I think it was Chris Fedor, another guy that we worked with, who actually read his column on who to pick in fantasy draft and picked before him. And every time he went to go make a pick in his fantasy draft, Fedor would take a guy that he wrote about. It was outstanding stuff. All right, let's go to Josh Cribbs, who's back on the phone line with us. Hi, Josh.
How you doing, guys?
Good. I want to ask you this question because there's a part of me that thinks that Cincinnati underestimated the Browns. And, you know, as you watch this defense stop team week after week against the run, it feels to me that teams are going to have to start to respect the Cleveland Browns. And they're going to have to try to – and I think one thing, especially offensively, is they're going to have to pick a guy to double team coming off the line offensively in Jordan Cameron or Josh Gordon. And I don't know that we've seen that since Braylon Edwards was here, since Joe Jaravicius was here, since Kellen Winslow was here. And I think that week in, you take 1 week, you take the next week, and I think they're starting to build a little respect so that folks don't walk into Cleveland and think it's an automatic W.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, at the same time, you know, when guys take away, when they, you know, shown to put good coverage on, you know, Jordan Cameron, you know, Hoyer's doing a good job of spreading the ball around. You know, when they have good coverage, which they do in times, teams come in and, you know, sometimes they pick a play that, you know, that covers everything that Hoyer has, and he's doing a good job at taking what the defense gives him. If he can't throw the ball down until he always hits this check down, and that's where, Obadiah shows up. You know, he was able to get his touchdown. He's consistently working the back, and that's instrumental. When there's nothing down the field open, he checks it down to the back, and, you know, that's almost sometimes a quarterback's best friend. But I feel like, you know, teams are underestimating the Browns. You know, they come in, you know, when the Bengals came in, I felt like they had a weak offensive attack. You know, just throw the A.J. Green and hoping that, you know, Joe Hayden is off his game. Well, no. Joe Hayden has been on his game thus far and shutting down one whole side of the football field. And teams come in here trying to pick on Buster Screen, and he has help. And he's playing, you know, good football right now as well. So, you know, I think, you know, a lot of teams are coming in underestimating this, you know, defense here, and it's pretty good. You know, and you know, with the Bills coming in, boasting a rushing attack, you know, second in the league right now, our run defense is doing pretty good. You know, and I'm anxious to see how they match up against each other, and I think that the Browns will do pretty well.
Yeah, set the stage for us with that, Josh. As a guy who's been in that Browns locker room, set the stage for a team now coming off a big divisional win on a short week with momentum, rolling in to face a team like Buffalo, and the Bills and Browns have played a lot of close games over the years. So set the stage and some of the keys for this team to keep it going on a short week.
One thing is staying focused, not dwelling on this win too long. You know, Trzynski has his work cut out for him. You know, they were able to get 2 back-to-back wins out of nowhere. So they're riding high, and you know, I'm sure the media is coming in and they all talking about, this win, the last win, and what were the keys. And so they have them thinking about this win in the future and all of this. And coach needs to, and I'm sure he is, make this team refocus, put that win behind them. It's a short week. NFL is always, what have you done for me lately? So they have to keep this momentum going, and doing that, they have to stay focused. And, they have to, consistently play good football. And they've shown that in the last 2 games, and they just got to stay healthy on that defensive front. And, I feel like the Browns will be pretty good. If Hoyer keeps spreading the ball around to guys and making things happen, a few touches here for the back, out the backfield, a few touches for, Gordon. He had, I think, 4 receptions, but they were very instrumental. If they shut down Jordan Cameron, or if they try to double coverage him, they have Josh Gordon. So I think the Browns are doing a good job of putting the balls in their playmakers' hands, and Hoyer is doing a great job in the pocket. The defense is doing pretty well. I just want to see some more out of the special teams production, from these returners, and the Browns are, turning themselves into a contender.
Josh, last question for you, and you've seen this in locker rooms before where guys kind of get ripped apart and then rebuild themselves. And Buster Screen, I think, yesterday has done a great job of trying to rebuild what he is and getting more comfortable in the defensive backfield. And I think the most underrated player on this team right now is Tayshaun Gibson, because week in and week out, he does it. You don't ever hear his name, and he is consistent back there, enough so that you don't even notice what he's doing because he's doing it so well.
I agree with you. And in another aspect, I am hearing his name a lot, and he's having a lot of pass breakups. I think he, at the end of the game, he was in there on that pass breakup, but he's in there and in on tackles, in on, pass deflections, playing good coverage. And it's almost like, a guard, a tackle, with Joe Thomas. When you don't hear his name and the quarterback is too good, that it's always a bad thing when you hear the tackle's name, when you know the tackle's name, because usually it's something bad. But, in return, Gibson, he's doing the same thing on defense. He's doing his responsibility. He's where he's supposed to be. When they throw it against him in coverage, he's breaking the balls up. He's in on plays and tackles, and, he's been playing solid football. And the defense as a whole, and I don't want to, talk specifics, and I keep bringing myself back to Joe Hayden. And he's causing teams to go the other way, to try to pick on and give these other guys opportunities. And these other guys are taking advantage of their opportunities. So Gibson is one of the guys who is also taking advantage of the opportunities.
All right, Josh, last question because we only have 1 minute left here. What's your story? What's next for Josh Cribbs?
Oh, I have a workout schedule. I don't want to, say which team.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
You'll definitely be, be hearing about it really soon. Sooner than you think.
All right, well, good luck with that workout this week. We're all rooting for you, and we're your biggest fans here on Dogs on the Run.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Josh. All right, we'll catch up with Josh very soon, and we'll do that next week. Wow, that really flew by.
Yep.
What a great week it's been for the Browns, and to go from week to week and then pick up another victory. We appreciate you listening and watching this morning and enjoying a little Dogs on the Run.
Yeah, and Browns Thursday, Indians Wednesday. We'll be back with Dogs on the Run on Friday to talk about hopefully another Browns win on Thursday against the Bills.
All right, thank you again for being a part of Dogs on the Run. We will do this again on Friday morning after the Browns beat the Bills. Go Indians, go Browns. We'll see you later.